If you're broke and you're wondering what to eat, I spend around $200 a month on food, and I live in a very high cost of living area. I live in the District of Columbia, and I do eat out 4 times a week in that budget. However, if I am forced to, I can eat for $1 a day, but I only do that in extreme circumstances. But if you guys are struggling, and if you guys want sample meal plans for the financially cognizant, I got a couple for you. It is a little challenging though, I'm not gonna lie, but once you get into the rhythm of things, it is very easy. And once you know how much money you are saving for every meal you are eating, it gets even easier after that. So just a disclosure, everyone's got different diets. I am not a dietitian by any means, so do not interpret this as dieting advice. I am also gluten-free because I have celiac disease. And also no, I don't just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day because I literally cannot, because bread has gluten in it and gluten-free bread is so expensive, it's not even funny. But I know a lot of other guys that are like, oh, just eat like PBJs every day. Like, yeah, you can do that, but like, I feel like mine are a little more interesting. So here's how it's done. Also, these meal plans are probably gonna be a lot better than just eating ramen every day, which is what those common stereotypes are of people who are just like super, super broke. And honestly, like eating ramen every day, not the best thing to do to your body because it doesn't have all the nutrients that you need. And it also just like isn't that filling, and like for the price it's not even that great. So here is a chart. It is a lot of foods that I commonly eat. Obviously I eat more variety than what I list here, but I'm not going to give you guys like a whole food database. Like, you guys can look that up yourself. I do the price of the food, the quantity I'm getting, how many servings that thing serves, and how much fat, carbs, and protein and calories each of those foods give per serving. Another thing to keep in mind is that sometimes you double up on certain servings and sometimes you eat half servings. You're not going to eat exactly the same amounts of like whatever a serving is every single time. So there is a little variation in that. But the backbone of the how to eat cheaply like routine is rice, because rice is honestly just the cheapest form of starch. And if you compare it to potatoes, the calories per dollar from rice is 3,500 calories for $1, whereas potatoes, they are only 1,000. So rice is literally more than 3 times effective than potatoes. It's just like a complete value play if you ask me. But I'll leave all this on my website, basebunny.com, if you guys want to access this whole chart. Let's get into some meal plans. So one thing to note, like, you will notice that I do eat the same thing for lunch and dinner, but then the next day you could switch it up. You could also do a thing where you eat the same thing for lunch every day and then dinner is different, so you eat like 2 different meals per day. You could do it however you like. No matter what, it's gonna be better than eating PB&Js every day or eating ramen every day. And I do offer a lot of diversity in terms of choices of foods. So I offer a balance of starches, veggies, and meat. So you could pick and choose whatever you like. You could also substitute for your own if you really like certain vegetables, for example, or certain types of meat. And if you are not gluten-free like me, you can go ahead and add in bread and pasta. Those are very, very cheap options as well. Definitely better than potatoes. Probably not quite as good as rice, but maybe bread comes close. So for all the haters who say like, wow, dude, I can't believe you like eat the same thing every day. Like, this isn't realistic at all. Well, if you are going around the plan of eating ramen every day and thinking that that is economically feasible, these meal plans are like a billion times better. Also, like, you have a thing called spices, and you could flavor your foods from all types of different cuisines very easily in your kitchen. And there is a lot of variety if you actually want to do it. So if you are a family of 4, it's super easy to do. If you are a single person, it's a little more difficult because it is hard to cook in a time-efficient manner while making a variety of meals. But you can make like 4 meals of one thing, 4 meals of another, and then switch between the 2, which is what I often do. But apart from spices, there are different cuts of meats and cooking methods. And this is not a cooking video. Let's go into the meal plans. I have 2 meal plans I want to show you. One is like the more like realistic one. One you could do pretty often, I'd say. And if we look at the top, we add this all up and you're spending around like less than $30 a week. I believe this is $28.80. And you are getting like a sufficient amount of calories. So people recommend getting like 2,000 calories. It obviously depends on your weight and your goals. For me, I am trying to gain a little bit of weight, and something a little bit above 2,000 is what I probably should be aiming for. I also list out the grams of fat, calorie, and protein that you are going to be seeing over here. And we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if we scroll to the right, we also have Sunday. And I give you a lot of different options to eat. So you could eat something like oatmeal, peanut butter, and milk for breakfast. Eat some potatoes, spinach, and chicken thighs for lunch with some olive oil. Like, I list out everything for you guys, like, for you guys at home, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, they don't include oil. They don't include like every little thing they're putting in. Obviously, I might miss something here because this is just a quick sketch. But here for dinner, like rice, broccoli, beans, onions, beef, garlic, and rice. Maybe like I had some sort of chili that day. Like we're going to have the same thing tomorrow for dinner too. So like the lunch is repeated a little bit, but we switch out potatoes for the rice for the next day. You also have a snack of like protein powder and apples. You could have the protein powder with your milk, or you could drink protein powder with water. It is up to you. I don't really mind either or. But on Tuesday, we have some potatoes, and then we have some eggs for breakfast. We also cook the eggs or potatoes with olive oil if we are frying them. For lunch, we have rice, spinach, chicken thighs as well, and then like the same thing for dinner as we said before. But later on, there is some variety. You could switch out with different meats as well, but to keep it simple, I just included 3 types of meat. I included one fish for Fish Friday, and then the chicken and the beef. But you could like roast the whole chicken. You could go for pork. Lots of different options there, but these are just things that I found to work pretty effectively. Obviously, I do eat pork a lot, which isn't listed here, but I'm not going to do the exact cost for every single piece of food out there. I am sorry to say that. I am not a nutrition database. But if you guys are really desperate and you're like, man, this isn't cutting it for me, I cannot afford $30 a week for my food. And do keep in mind, I spend like $200 a month. So $30 a week is actually only $120 per month. So if I want to eat out, I have plenty of opportunities to do that because I have an $80 or $90 breathing room, which I have built into the system. Also, I am in a space where I don't need to budget to $200 a month. I could eat much more than that if I so chose to. So here is the emergency budget meal plan. You are just going to be eating the same thing every single day, because if you're willing to eat ramen every single day, you could do this every single day as well, but you get much more nutritious meals. We're bumping it down to around 2,000 calories per day. Obviously, like you could round it up a little bit because we are at 98 cents and not at $1. So just eat like a tiny bit more than whatever the serving size is for one of the options we have. But we have here, like we're still getting 74 grams of protein. So I've read online that people recommend eating 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram that you weigh. So if you are like 50 kilos, you could get away with eating like not that much protein, honestly. You could get away with like 40 grams. So we are eating like more protein than we probably need, but that's because I like exercising and they say to eat more protein when you're doing that. So that is what I am doing. If you're doing pounds, that is 0.36 grams of protein per pound that you weigh. But essentially, you are eating for breakfast oatmeal and some peanut butter. We tossed out the milk from before because milk is just too expensive for this emergency budget meal. And then you are eating rice and chicken for lunch and some lentils as well. And then for dinner, you are eating a lot of rice and some beans to round out your day. And again, these are the nutrition facts. I am not a nutritionist, but this is definitely better than just eating ramen every single day. And obviously, you could flavor it with different things. You could add other types of beans. You could get other types of meats in there other than chicken thighs. Like you don't have to do chicken thighs every day because there's never been actually a rule that you have to eat for $1 a day. But it all depends on your financial circumstances, and this is just like a sample of what you can eat during the day while keeping it under $1 and still reaching like almost 2,000 calories if you round it up. If you need more calories, it's going to be more expensive. If you need less, it's going to be less expensive. And if you want to eat other foods, just go ahead and make your own spreadsheet and do all the calculations yourself, because this is not a comprehensive guide. And of course, not everyone is gluten-free. Some people can't eat certain foods that I can. But this is not a cooking video. This is a personal finance video. And yeah, you might need to repeat some meals, but this isn't an issue for me at all. Essentially, if you have any desire to save some money, you need to be willing to make a couple of sacrifices. Some people sacrifice variety of foods or exotic foods. Some people sacrifice having a less expensive car. You need to pick and choose your battles and decide what's really that important to you. I just get sick and tired of people saying like, oh yeah, you could eat for really cheap every day. You could just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for every meal and eat multiples of them, or just eat ramen every day. But honestly, with this meal plan, you could make all sorts of different foods. For example, for potatoes, you could boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Or you can make fries, hash browns, and much, much more. And then eggs, they could be fried, scrambled, deviled, or whatever you want. And you could even eat them raw in shakes or over rice. Again, not a dietitian. This is not diet advice. But if you are struggling financially, this is probably a better food plan than eating ramen every day. So yeah, that is how to eat on less than $5 a day or even at $1 a day. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe below. I am going to be coming out with a ton more videos in the near future because I quit my job and I have a lot more time to do these types of things now. So apart from that, I will see you guys later.